How long you think it was gonna take before we got here? Now you gotta prove yourself all over again. Come on.
Ain't nobody coming out, been gunning from 100 yards, trying to hit my mark, missing every time. This will be the start of the picture perfect. Watch you.
And then there was Charles and Rich.
Then there's us.
You know, I don't know how I didn't pull us back up in there right away, but I guess I didn't do that. That's not something I should do, Mr. Charles, right?
Well, it happens, right?
Yeah, it happens from time to time. Such is life, so to speak, right?
Yep.
Yeah, well, what can you do? That's the way things work, my brother. Yesterday got smoked out, right? We were supposed to do Horseshoe Indianapolis and all that Canadian wildfire stuff messing up horse racing in the Midwest. How was it by you?
It was pretty smoky here, actually, too.
Was it? Yeah. I mean, here in Chicago, I suppose, from what I heard, we actually had the worst air quality in the world yesterday.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes. I mean, another worst for Chicago.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. But, you know, I don't know. I mean, you could smell the smoke. You could smell fire now and then.
A little bit, yeah. But it's not.
But it was kind of more like hazy.
Go out running, I think, more so, or kids playing, I guess, or whatever.
Or walking dogs. Apparently, my dog got overwalked yesterday, and it's the equivalent of smoking 20 cigarettes for a dog being outside. So
that's okay.
My dog was just wiped out. Yeah. All right. Enough about dogs. We didn't have a horse center last night either because, well, our guest had an emergency, had to attend to some teeth. So I guess that we'll have to get back to that another time. So we're back to racing today, Charles. We're going to do Ellis Park. It's a first for us to do Ellis Park, the taking over for Churchill Downs after they had some tragedies there that they're trying to figure out happen. So first race number 1 is going to be 5 furlongs, a maiden special weight of $120,000. So far, since they've moved the meet from Churchill in Lexington, where is Ellis Park city-wise?
It's much closer to Cincinnati.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's I would say approximately about 35 minutes from Cincinnati, somewhere in that range.
Somewhere in that zone. Well, since they moved it closer to Cincinnati than Louisville, the 5 furlong races, they've done 3 of them so far. 100% of them were won by speed. 2 out of 3 went wire to wire. Every single winner, Charles, came from post positions 4 through 7. So really not a lot of data there. We don't have any data either here because there's a lot of first-time starters. You can see. So because of that, I think they're all first-time starters for the most part, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So what do you like and why?
Yeah, this is going to be probably a very chalky day if it goes to form. Today,
do they ever?
Well, that's true there too. And we're having thunderstorms, lightning and thunderstorms. So I was surprised that they left some things on turf and then this and that.
Well, maybe it's not storming over there.
They might stop the races because of lightning and thunder. But the first race, I like number 4 is my first choice. This horse is Dam, has 2 winners from 3 starters. One of them's a stakes horse. You got a hot jockey the last 7 days. Definitely bred to be a fast one, Matoli. So, you know, I'm going to give the nod to that horse. The 5 is my second choice. Once again, the Dam has 2 winners from 3 starters. One of them's a stakes horse. This one's also bred to be a sprinter. Casey gets 12% with first timers, so not too bad. And then the 3 horse is my third choice. Dam has 5 winners from 6 starters. One of them's a stakes horse, very well bred, solid works. And then the 6th horse is my final horse, price horse. Dam has 2 winners from 7 starters, 1 stakes horse. Solid works. Trainer gets 11% with first timers. So those are my top 4. But it's like, isn't it a 6-horse race? So
yeah, you could get all 6 if you wanted, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
The weather there, it is raining right now. I just looked down the camera over there in the race feed. So it is definitely raining. They are calling for thunderstorms and stuff. This track is sloppy. So it is the 3rd sloppy track in a row that we're working with. They're off the turf. I am going to start with the 5 horse right now, Charles. You're a 4 horse in morning line. 3-1 is now 1-1. Bacan Group, this one has a double bullet and go. So you work at the workouts. The last 2 workouts were bullets. According to our good friend Barry Meadows from the Skeptical Handicapper, 1 bullet alone is worth alpha angle, which means it wins at 15% or more. And it has a lot of other good works before that one too. The 5 horse is the 6 horse is what's up next for me. I was looking at your picks for a moment there. Got Tanned for Speed. All right. This is another one that has a bullet and go. Very steady works pattern. Number 4, Ozone. That's your top pick, the 1-to-1 choice right now. $375,000 horse, so not inexpensive. Does get the top pedigree score and some pretty decent workouts, but I don't think any horse in this situation is worth 1-to-1. Not that I thought he would be 1-to-1. And then finally, Magical Monarch. Very consistent in its workout pattern. Charles, we have $100, our budget for the day. Apparently, I went over mine, so I had to delete a few things before we came on. I thought I was on target, but I guess not. $1 exact the key box, the 5 over the 3, the 4, and the 6. That's my opening salvo in the opening race. Hopefully that 5 horse at 4-to-1 wins, and then maybe the 6 or the 3 comes in second. That's would be the ideal case. Race number 2 is, if they get that far today, Charles. The last time we got together, Terry and I, race 10 got suspended because of the weather out there at Parks. It looked like a monsoon came through.
Yeah, and then I saw that one race where the puddle was right around that turn for the stretch. Yeah.
Yeah, and they ran. Well, there was actually the puddle was there for a couple of races. They ran through it on one race and ran around it in another.
Well, I'm surprised the jockey tried to go through it because
not just one, a few went through it.
Because a horse, when they see a difference in ground, a little shadowing or any discoloring, they sometimes have a tendency to jump.
Mm-hmm. My dog does the same thing, except it won't jump. It just stops. It refuses to walk through water. Even though it's a retriever, they're supposed to she loves to swim in Lake Michigan, but try to get her to walk through a puddle. Yeah, not going to happen.
By the way, it just says weather delay.
No, all right. Well, then we'll have time to get through all of the races before the first one. And then we'll have put our thoughts out there, and then hopefully they actually race. So race number 2, if they get to race number 2, is 1 1/8 miles. It's a maiden claiming $50,000. The purse is $58,000. At 1 1/8, the profile of a winner. Charles, in 5 races, 100% of them were won by speed, 3 of which went wire to wire. Strong inside 3 bias, 4 through 7 a touch on to par. So far, nobody's won from 8 and out. 8 and out is not an issue. We do our simulations here, 1,000 simulations using speed figures to come up with what we think would be fair odds based upon how many times a horse wins in those 1,000 race simulations. The lower, the better. We also look for who's going to be where at the quarter-mile marker. With American racing so speed dependent, we want to know who's going to be on the front, and this is the percent chance based upon early pace numbers in 1,000 simulations that they will be where they'll be at the lead, or what their percent chance is to have the lead. And then finally, C-Zone, something that's unique to us. This says based upon its previous races, the pace, the way it sets up from our 1,000 simulations, is it one that mirrors the best efforts from these horses? Again, the higher, the better, the higher the likelihood the horse is going to get a race that it likes. Charles, sure looks like Crossing is going to be the one they have to pass at some point in the race.
Yeah, but I mean, an 83% chance of having that lead at the quarter pole. But remember, these are maidens. So who knows really what they're all going to try to do. But yeah, that's most likely the one that's going to be out there at least for a while, especially at the quarter pole. When it comes to simulation odds, the 2 also itself is a nice overlay. 2-1, and the morning line is 5-1. And then the 3, just slightly under 2-1. We got a 3-1 morning line. So we'll see what we're at on that.
Yeah, so it looks like they have a severe thunderstorm watch, 10:35 through June 29th. So the whole day?
Yeah, it's all day. It's been going like this since 6 o'clock this morning.
Well, what do you think the odds are they actually do some racing today?
I put it right now, probably about a 40% chance
that they race, or they race. 60% they cancel. You think?
Yeah.
Well, Terry and I went through a streak like that where we rained out a bunch of tracks for a while. All right, well, let's march on. We are we are in shelter. So race number 2, our way to the winner's circle pace sheet. We see that the 2 and the 5, they're pressure horses. You got the E horse. There's not one that actually needs to be on the lead. So none that's lead dependent or a pilot. EP are co-pilots or pilots. Ps can be co-pilots only. PCs, they're the versatile type. They can run from anywhere on the track. Closers, of course, they want to come from off the pace. NC types are horses that so far haven't been within 5 lengths of the leader at the finish line. And then finally, of course, the first means first-time starter. Looking at the early speed, you want the 2 or the 5 most likely to get to the front. It looks like the 2 will be your pace setter. 5 will be close, so it doesn't need to be the lead as a co-pilot type. Paddington, the one that has not been close yet, also should be involved early. Late speed favors the 3 horse, Go Cats and Luna Vejeja. Crossing is right in there, fighting ready, and Paddington. Those 2 maybe a little bit tired legs at the end. And finally, our total pace score goes to Crossing. Few points better than Go Cats, few points better than Luna Veja. Then a little bit of a drop off from there, notwithstanding your first time starter, Sant Antimo. All right, anyway, Charles. When they finally get around to race number 2, if they get around to race number 2, what are they going to do?
Well, I mean, I like the 1 here. This horse drops in class today. Well, Cox gets 32% when he goes from straight maiden to a maiden claimant. And that's what we got here today. And, look, that horse was very well bet last time too. So I think this puts him in a position, especially with the 2. I'm not so convinced that could hang on to the lead. The 3 is my second choice here. Drops in class also. First time gelding. Asmussen gets 23% straight maiden to maiden claimant. And so that one's, looks pretty good. Also, the 4 drops in class. They add the blinkers today. Trainer gets 22% when he puts the blinkers on for the first time. And he gets 23% going from straight maiden to maiden claiming. So, I mean, all these horses have the right to do something here. And the 5 horse is my final pick here. This horse drops today. Blinkers come off. Bred for the turf, but they're not going to be running on turf. So we'll see how that turns out.
Well, it might translate to running on a sloppy track. It does look like a weather forecast that the thunderstorm stuff could stop and just start to rain a little bit in about an hour, half hour or so. So maybe they'll get to horse racing over there. I see that Delaware Park and Charlestown have canceled. And I wonder if that's because of the smoke, because I know it's supposed to move east. I'm going to go with Paddington 2. Was bet down to 5-2 in its debut. Slow start. Does have a bullet workout sense on the maiden special weight drop. Number 3, Go Cats. Bad starts in both of its races. Maybe try the fix the bad start stuff with gelding the horse. I would have liked to see some short workouts in between races to show that they want to get this horse out of the gates a little bit quicker. Number 2, Crossing. This one, I believe, as the simulation says, could be the pace setter. Moving up in class. In its 3rd start, off the bench, Charles's favorite handicapping angle that he overlooked here, does have a strong workout between races. So I don't think the class hike is going to hurt him that much. Luna Vieja, another maiden special weight dropper. That 4 horse could be better in round 2 off the bench. If you can run back a couple of races to the effort he put in at Keeneland, probably your winner. I'm going to do a pick 4. I expect if they do come back, there'll be an additional wave of scratches off the bad weather. But in the meantime, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 over the 1, 6, 8 over the 3, singling up that 3 over the 1, the 2, and the 3.
Yeah, so I'm doing a pick 4 also, but I'm going small pick 4s. As a matter of fact, I think it's going to be a chalky day, so I'm trying to keep my pick 4s and pick 5s at a really minimum bet because I don't know if the payout's going to be there,
Yeah, it's tough to say. I feel like in the sloppy days, a lot of times you get some really weird upsets in there. So I didn't plan for a delay, obviously, or the kind of rain that they're going to get. So again, I expect that you're going to see you'll see a wave of scratches when they come back up if they decide to go live. Race number 3 is 1.25 miles. It was supposed to be on the turf, Charles. No chance in HE double toothpicks that they'll be running on the turf today. So expect this one to be 1.25 miles in the mud at 1 1/4 miles. So it'll be a pretty long one in the mud. It looks like I don't know exactly where they'll start, but at least it'll be a 2-turn race on this one. At the distance, well, we can't worry about that because we don't have any data on 1.25 miles. They haven't done that yet. But what we do have is our data. There aren't scratches yet, but it looks like the speed's going to be to the outside, Charles.
Yeah, it looks like the 9 horse has got almost a 41% chance of having that lead at the quarter pole. But there's a couple of other horses there. I mean, you get that 8, which I think is going to be one of those scary tactical speed horses that could have a shot at it too. When it comes to simulation odds,
hold on 1 second, Charles. So number 2, no 2 in race number 2 right now.
Okay,
and the 5 horses out too. So those are 2 scratches in that race that I just heard the announcer speak into my ear. So that's going to change our bets a little bit, Mr. Charles, for sure. Yeah. Well, it didn't really affect yours. It does affect mine a little bit on that 4 horse, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, a little bit, but
So I'm just going to take the 4 out of my pick 4s. So we're going to be I have the mic open in my ear, so as they make changes, that should so the 2 horses out.
And I think they're more worried about this lightning, and because the thunder and lightning is pretty good.
Is it? All right. Well, I'm going to just adjust some stuff right here real quick too in race number 2 since they took the 2 and the 5 out. I'm going to go with the 6 horse instead.
Hang on.
Mine is going to be. Hold on a second.
Go to race 2.
Yes. 1, 3, 4, 6. 1, 3, 4, and 6. So I'm just going to add, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to add the 6 to my pick 4 now. Again, I expect that you're going to see, since I've already budgeted all that out, I expect to see more scratches as the day goes on. But as we hear about them in my ear, I will let you know. All right, Charles, you went through all the data, or did you just get started before I interrupted you?
We were at the simulation odds, yeah.
Okay, fire away.
The 1 horse, what's that, like basically 1 to 5. In morning line, it's supposed to be even money, so you might get an overlay there with that horse. That's about it when it comes to overlays on odds itself.
All right. And then in race number 3, as far as our race shape is concerned, looking at that, we will see that the 6 and the 9, those 2 are up on the front. They want to be your pace setters. The 1, 2, 5, and 8, they want to close. The 3, 4, and 7, they have not been close. So you're looking at the 6 and the 9, you want to see them have the opportunity to get to the front. And it looks like that they could get there, although this closer, okay, fine, maybe a little bit of a left arrow horse. That one could put a little bit of pressure on them, although I would suspect that the jockey probably let them be patient unless they find, coming out into the new track here today with the new conditions, they get up to the front and you're absolutely going to win, although speed has been pretty dominant at Ellis Park so far. On the way home, the 1 horse, Sri Lanka, has a pretty good late pace advantage over Spun Oats, and those 2 are well ahead of the rest of the crew. And our total pace numbers figure Sri Lanka with a 5-point advantage over OK Fine. Spun Oats, Southampton Dock, that quartet a little bit better than all of the rest. I would suspect that maybe the 1, the 8, the 5, and the 6 was where that will produce the winner. What do you think?
100%. I got it. It was just like that. 1, 8, 5, 6.
Yeah, there you go. Now you're in my notes cheating again, eh?
Yeah. That's me.
Yes,
but I'm gonna say the 1 is definitely the 1 to beat. This horse is second start after a layoff here. Got a hot jockey the last 7 days. Ran second last time. Well bred. The 8 horse is my second choice. Tactical speed, like I said, he's got that scary speed to go out there. Well bred. Tyler's aboard. Trainer gets 15% with 46 plus days of rest. And then the 5 horse is my third choice here. You got another hot jockey last 7 days, third start after a layoff. And then my final pick is the 6. The horse ran second last time out, second start after a layoff. Bred for the turf. We're not going to get turf today, but they were at least thinking the right way. And I'm doing a $10 ice cold exacta 1 on top of the 8. And then I'm
$10 down the drain there.
What?
Have
No.
you hit an ice cold? I don't remember you getting an ice cold yet.
Oh, come on.
I don't
Ice
remember
cold.
one ice cold coming in for Charles.
And then I'm
Your boxes
singling.
come in. I think you'd be better off going $5 box.
Oh,
But it's
jeez.
going to
And
be chalky as hell with that 1.8.
that's why I just went ice cold, because the one's the winner.
All right,
Duh.
well,
I mean,
we'll
come
find.
on.
I mean, yeah,
hello.
you did copy my pick, so okay, I give you
and
some
I
credit there.
I singled the one in the fourth race here.
Wow.
I mean, the third race, excuse me. I singled it. So
Congratulations.
Hey, you got to make a stance. And that's my single. And then I went my top 2 picks in the second leg, top 4 picks in the third leg. And then I did your
favorite word, all.
Your favorite
thing. Your only winning betting strategy. That's Charles's only winning handicapping angle.
Let's face the facts. They did so many scratches in there. They only left me with one horse that I originally thought had a shot.
All right. Well, that's the way it works.
I hit the all button.
So you did copy my picks because I have the one horse, Sri Lanka. Might be better in the second after layoff, especially after a blistering workout. 4 furlongs and 46 and 4. That's pretty fast. That was on June 22nd, so not all that long ago. The horse should be ready to run. Okay, fine. 2 consecutive speed figure increases that ended with the top last race speed figure last time. This one improved. Well, it's not going to run on the turf, so forget about that. If the horse does take the same step forward today as it did in its last race, it could be no contest for the rest. So Charles may have wished that he put it as an 8-1 ice cold. Number 6, Southampton Dock. I like this kind of horses a lot, Charles, because it improved its speed figure in every race, the 3 since its debut. Steady improvement, race to race, showed speed for the first time last out. That was its first route rate on grass, particularly. Going to have more stamina today than it did in that last race. Second up, 2 workouts in between here in its June 8th race. So a lot of things I like about that 6 horse. Finally, the 5 horse Spun Oats. The late pace in its last race was on par with a lot of high-level horses. Did run a major Z pattern in its last race. I'll bring that up again because this was kind of interesting to me, Charles, looking at this 5 horse. Because you see on the early pace here that the horse ran a 73 early pace, which is, a closer type early pace. Definitely not one that wants to be forwardly placed. But then you look at this middle number right here, 47. Like it almost stopped, which makes me wonder if the jockey Martin Perdoza felt like there was something wrong with the horse, right? Because he's maybe pulled up a little bit to see, hey, what's going on? And then just fired it up at the end and ran a 102 on late pace, which is a very strong number. So that's a Z pattern if I've ever seen a Z pattern. But I almost wonder with that big lull in the middle, if the jockey maybe felt something was wrong. How would you read that?
Well, first I would, if I could, which I can on this, I could go and look at the video and see what really happened. He could have been boxed in and maybe come close to clipping heels, so the jockey basically has to sit on him and do nothing. I mean, there's a lot of things. Yeah, it just depends where he was at when he did that.
So you did a pick 4 where you singled to 1. I'm not so sold that it'll be especially with all these maiden races, that it's going to be all that chalky. There'll be some upsets. There always are. So I'm going to go 1, 6, 8. I singled the 3 in the next leg. The 1, 2, 3 with the 2, 3, 4, and 8. But there are some scratches that we haven't got to yet. So we might see a few through here that, for example, in this race, before we started, the 3 and the 7 were in. As the rain started to fall, the 3 and the 7 were out. So the trainers decided they don't want those guys in the race. Race number 4, before we get cracking, let's see if there's any new scratches. There aren't any scratches in race number 4, Charles. So that's a plus. At least not yet. In race number 4, they will try to run 6 furlongs for allowance, 50 grand versus 72 grand. 6 furlongs so far. Early speed has done well. 58% of the time, it's gone wire to wire. Very strong rail bias for rider special. I don't know how Ellis Park strains. If the water puddles around the rail, that might go away. 2 through 7 play fair. 8 and out. There are no winners. Charles, we don't know how the track is going to play today because of the mud. But if in the slop, if it does favor speed, it does look like the 3 and the 5 have an advantage over the rest.
Yeah, most of the time, slop does favor speed. Most of the time, the 5 horse has a 54% chance of getting that lead at the quarter pole. The 3 might have a say in that, but I think if the 3 is smart, I think he would sit right there real tight and close to the horse and
Mhm.
take advantage when the time's right for, if the other horse is getting tired or you seize an opportunity. Um, when it comes to simulation odds itself, 4 is slightly under 2 to 1. We got a 3.5 to 1 morning line, not too bad overlay, but that's all we have when it comes to simulation odds.
So you mentioned you thought the 3 should sit back and be patient. Let's see if it does have it does have the EP ability, so it doesn't need to be on the lead. So maybe Charles is on to something there with good heart. If it sits right behind the 5, it doesn't need to use all of its energy early. The 6 horse, so those 3 are going to be forwardly placed. Each should be exactly where they want. I wouldn't be surprised if the race goes 5-3-6 at the quarter mile with the 1-2-4 giving chase. And then as far as the early speed numbers point out, the 3 horse could be the one that wants to be on the lead. If it wants to be on the lead, may or may not take that position. Certainly needs to have some more late pace on there. And I singled him, expecting him to hold in there, although constitutional law does have a pretty strong advantage over the rest in here. 6-point advantage. So it does have some good late pace in there. Total pace, you have the 2, the 4, the 5, my 3, all the way at the bottom on the single. Oh, my Lord. What am I thinking, Charles?
Well, you singled it, but I still think it's a winner myself because I think he has the right speed and tactical speed. He doesn't need to take the lead, and I think that would be the smartest move unless he's the only one out in front and everyone took a nap at the gate when they open up the gate. So
Well, it depends on how much he likes the kickback, right? The wet kickback, sloppy kickback in his
Right,
face.
but
If
you
he
can
don't
see
like
how-
it, he ain't going to go to the back.
yeah, but he could sit right off the side of a horse and not get a kickback. So
That's true, too.
I mean, I personally think if they break out nice, the 5 especially, I see the 3 sitting second for at least half of this race.
Mhm.
But I do like the 3 overall. You got a hot jockey trainer combo the last 14 days. Second start after a layoff. 1 last time out. So I think this is the horse to beat. The 1 horse is my second choice. Ran second last time out. Rail does get 27%. In my personal opinion, there's a jockey upgrade. You get Luis Saez aboard. And then the 4 horse is my third choice. This horse has got some tactical speed. The blinkers come off today. They're trying to get this horse probably relaxed. The trainer gets 25% with that angle. You got a hot jockey last 7 days, so why not? And then my final price horse is the 6. Does have some speed to keep up. Let's see how he likes the wet going. Second last time out, second start after a layoff, so he might be ready to rock and roll.
Well, according to this, the weather should break there momentarily, and then it might not rain for the rest of the card. I don't know if that'll be true or not. I like the 3 horse as my top pick. Good heart. Better across the board with its pace numbers last race out, and had some blazing early pace numbers in its first sprint. And those fractions were pretty sharp too, and they were all at Ellis Park. Number 5, missing curfew, 2 consecutive speed figure increases. Going to try to go gate to wire, as we saw on the pace worksheet, but tends to fade late. Although the trainer did put 17 furlongs of workouts in him since June started. So that suggests that he should be fit, maybe strong enough this time around to make it from beginning to end before tiring. Number 1, rider special, benefits from the win rate rail, high win rate rail, but we don't know what that's going to be like when they come back today. It's going to try to close in on the speed horses. I don't know how much cutting back in distance is going to help this horse from its last race. Seems to me like it's more of a 7 furlong to a mile horse than it is a 6 furlong horse. Number 2, constitutional law is the top total pace horse in here. The 6-point late pace edge over the rest of the field. I think in this race, it should be mid-pack, probably behind a 3 and a 5, and then ready to strike if either one of those two or both burn each other out. Now I'm going to do a superfecta, the 3 over the 1-2-5 over the 1-2-5 and all, Mr. Charles. So I got a lot riding on this 3 horse. And the other thing is I usually don't do all that stuff. Just looking at those early pace numbers, though, last time out, they were pretty aggressive, and the speed does hold up today. It might be tough for them to catch that one and run it down.
Right.
That was my thinking there. That's the story I'm going to tell, and I'm going to stick to it, my friend. Let's see what we got going here. Hola, Frank. How are you today? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us today. Hopefully we get some racing in Ellis Park, just outside of the Cincinnati area in race number 5 today. Let's see. Como Pramacara. Unfortunately, Frank, I don't speak Spanish, so I can't help you on that one. I wish I'm going to take that babble and learn to speak Spanish, because we do have so many Spanish-speaking folks that tune in that I want to be able to communicate. I think that would be only fair. In race number 5, Charles, let me look real quick to see if they've had any scratches. So far, none that they've added to the roster, so that's good. In the 5th race, when they get around to it, they'll run 6.5 furlongs. At 6.5 furlongs, you're going to find that the typical winner at the meet so far in the 7 races that they have had tactical speed. So you don't really need to be on the front. But if you are, you win 29% of the time. The rail horse has been fair, so might as well run. That horse should get a decent run. 2 for 3 got a little bit of a bonus. 4 through 7 get a little bit of a penalty. And so far, 8 and out, there has been no winner. In the 5th race, Charles, our simulations tell a story. What story do they tell you?
Well, I mean, it's going to be a battle for that lead, it looks like, between the 1 and the 5. They both got about the same percentage, about 35, 34%. I guess it depends who really breaks. I personally think it's going to probably more or less the 1 is probably going to get the lead, I think, personally. But you got simulation odds there. The 1 itself is just slightly over 3-1. You got 6-1 morning line. There's a nice overlay. And look at that 2. The 2 is just under 3-1, 8-1 morning line. And then you got the 3, just slightly under 2-1. You got 2-1 morning line. And that's what we have for simulation odds. So a couple of them are nice overlays.
Well, you mentioned, if you look on here, according to our simulation, everybody gets some chance to get the lead. So who's going to get on the gas early? So our way to the winner's circle worksheet could shed some light on who that's likely to be. None of them, fortunately for them, are lead dependent. None are E's. You do have the EP horse. The 3 could take the lead. The 2 horse right there behind it. You got some versatility in the 1 and the 5, and the 4 and the 6. Those 2 want to close. According to the more recent numbers, Amani's Eagle, the 2 horse, the pressure horse, does have a little bit of a pace advantage early on over Appeal Denied. It sure looks like those 2 are the most likely pace setters. And I wouldn't be shocked if it runs in that order too, because the 3 doesn't need the lead. On the way home, the late pace figures belong to the 4 horse Leagues of Legends, but that 3 horse up here does rate pretty close to the top as well. Could be difficult when we put together the early pace, late pace, total pace. Yeah, 3 Appeal Denied, getting a 5-point advantage over Might As Well Run. It might be tough to catch that 3 horse today, especially in the slop if speed holds up, Charles. Maybe I should have singled this 3 horse instead.
Yeah, this is my second best bet of the day, the 3. With my best bet was in the 3rd race, the 1. But this horse here is just like the last race, I think. He has that tactical speed. He could go on the lead if he wants. He could sit right off of it. I think he's in the better position on that. So I see him doing very well, either sitting right there second or having the lead, just depending on how they break out of the gate. Drops in class today. 3rd start after a layoff. The trainer gets 20% with that angle. And you get the hot rider, Tyler Gaffalione. And then you got my 5 horses, my second choice here. 1 last time out. 2nd start after a layoff. I think this horse will be closing a little bit better than leading itself. So I think he has better closing speed. The 4 horse is my 3rd choice. This horse has some tactical speed, drops in class. John Cord is back on this horse. Took 1 right off, and he fits this horse very well. He's riding for his father-in-law, so there's that connection there, and he does very well with him. The 6 horse is my final choice here. Not much of a price horse, but this horse does cut back in distance. He seems like he fits this race itself, but I still think it's the 3. It's his race to lose.
Think it's his race to lose. All right. For me, I like the 3 horse in here too. I think it's his race to lose too. Appeal Denied. Last race on paper didn't look pretty good at all, but it wasn't as bad as it looked. The early fractions were probably a little bit too fast for Appeal Denied. Back to a level, dropping a class where his numbers fit in the 3rd start after a layoff. Number 1, Might As Well Run, is a better 2 and 4 furlong early pace numbers in his last. did run some pretty similar fractions at 6.5 furlongs as he did at 6. To me, you run longer, but you run the same fractions. That means you're actually running faster. Charles's favorite handicapping angle here, third start after a layoff. Amani's Eagle, the 2-horse, is my next pick. First off the claim, it's a 27% angle for Jason Barkley, the trainer. 2 works, including a bullet since being acquired. Number 5, Emperor, was a tough call for me over your 6-horse Ram, but better simulation numbers, better early pace numbers, and also has a better total pace number. So I went with the 5-horse over the 6. Trifecta 1, 2, 3, over the 1, 3, over the 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. That 4-horse better not show up in third.
Well, I singled here. I mean, and I picked 5. I took the 3.
Yeah,
And then
you know what I'm going to do right here, Charles? You know what I'm going to do?
Oh,
I can't do that right here.
I was going to say, oh, please.
Because if I did that here, I would guarantee the 3-horse wins. I have to do one where you and I disagree and I can change it. You know, I don't know if you watched on Monday it was or Tuesday. I don't remember what day it was now because this part goes away so fast. But I made a mistake because I put in all my picks and then I went back and decided which one I wanted to take out. I took out the 3-horse in the second race at Parks on accident. It was my second pick. I meant to take the 5 out, my 4th pick. Well, guess which horse won? The 3-horse won. But I didn't notice it until the second race, and I did a pick 5. So I couldn't correct my error and put the 3 in there instead of the 5 because the race 1 was already done. Well, of course, race 2, the 3-horse, which was 10-1 morning line, went on to win wire to wire. I picked all the rest of them right, and the pick 5 paid $908 or something like that for 50 cents. So that's 6 out of 6, Charles. Where I put the wrong horse in that went on to win.
And 5 out of those 6, I benefited from it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I got to do all I can do to help you out. You know, my back gets tired from doing all the heavy lifting.
I appreciate it. Hey, I'm not. Hey, you usually do it in a race that, hey, I don't know, maybe it won't work, but yeah, it does.
Well, let's see what works for our thinking in race number 6. There are no scratches in race number 6 beyond what we have already. So we have the 1, the 6, the 9, and 10.
Yeah, this was my all button. Remember on the pick 4 that you made fun of. This is ridiculous race.
So a ridiculous race for Charles in race number 6. I'm sorry that they make it difficult for you. It's 1.5 miles, it looks like. This one will be running the main track at 1.5 miles. So it's going to be a long one on there, Charles. Who the heck knows what's going to happen because there isn't really any data for 1.5 miles on the dirt. So it's just a flip, it's just a guess. Whatever happens, happens. I would guess, I would still guess that you'd want a horse to be forwardly placed because they might not enjoy getting all that mud and stuff kicked up into their face.
You would think that, but it's 1.5 miles. They still might get too tired. I mean, it's too many scratches. It did not benefit anything here. So when it comes to who's going to have the lead, they're saying the 4. At 14%, okay, I'll go with the 4 taking the lead. He's actually bred for turf, but he does have some tactical speed, so I think he fits there for that position. But when it comes to simulation odds, you might as well throw all those out the window because all the scratches. But the 4 was one of them that could have been an overlay at basically 2-1 and 6-1 morning line. You're not going to get that now, but let's see how that turns out.
Yeah, Goonie Bracho, he says, "Oh, Captain, Ellis Park, all over, all Captain." The Goonie Bracho. I agree with Goonie Bracho. I'm all over that 4-horse too with that strong simulation score there. Also, in race number 6, we do find that the bunch of scratches in here did narrow the field down. 4 is a lone E. If he gets to the front, it could be difficult to contend with. May or may not get there, though, Charles, because that 3-horse in there, that PC type, the V type, I'd rather be blessed. Yeah, as would I. That one could be on the lead, Mr. Charles. If so, that could discourage the 4. So I would expect that the 4 is going to try to get to the front no matter what. If he does have enough late legs to stay there. You see on par with the 2 and the 8, a couple of the closers there, which should be, well, the 8-horse might be close up behind. So it could be a duel down the stretch between the 4 and the 8. Wouldn't be shocked to see that. The total pace does go a little bit to the 4, so maybe the 4 will get enough of an early race advantage to hold off. So it might hold off to 8.
Well,
So hold on one second, Charles. They just said in race number 3. So we got to go back to race number 3 now. In race number 3, the 8 horse is no longer running. Okay, fine. So there goes your ice cold, Charles. I told you not to go ice cold in that race. Okay, fine. Not a part of that race. So we have to make some adjustments on the fly, Mr. Charles.
Then I'll do the ice cold to the 5. I'm fine with that.
All right. Well, let's go back and adjust our picks on the screen here. So in race number 3, there's no 1-8. So 6, 5, and then after the 8 for me comes in race number 3. I have the 9 horse. That's next for me. So in my pick 4s, let's see what I had in my pick 4 just to make sure I get that right. In race number 2, I had the 1, 6, and 8. So that's going to go to the, hold on one second. It's going to go to the 1, 6, and 8, to the 1, 6, and 5, just to make sure we get these right, Mr. Charles. This is why I think you're going to find it goes, it might look chalky on paper, but I wouldn't be surprised if it gets a little bit crazier than that. 1, 5, and 6. And then race number 3, I have the 1, 6, 8. So I'm going to change that to 1, 6, and 5 in my pick 4. And voila. I think I'm up to speed on everything in that race. We were talking about, what race were we talking about? Race number 5, right? That's your all button? No, we were talking about race number 6, your all button. That's where we're at. All right.
Where are we at?
Race number 6. I think we're on race number 6.
Yeah.
Yes, we're on race number 6.
Yeah.
Captain.
Okay.
All right. So we got all that squared away from the, sorry about like kind of herky-jerky sort of moving around. We were talking a little bit about we went through the early pace. We went through what I screwed this up now too. Hold on one second. I'm screwing everything up, Mr. Charles. It's what I do best, folks. Forgive me. We went through what the early speed and pace looks like in here. So now what we're going to do is get back on script, Charles. Not that we have a script, but back on track and talk about who we think is going to win and why.
Yeah, with this race totally wide open, I'm still going with the 8. Horse has some of that tactical speed. He's much better closer than he is running up front. He was well bet last time. You got Tyler aboard. Maker gets 17% with 46 plus days rest. And then the 4 horse is my second choice. I kind of agree with you. If he doesn't get the lead, he's going to be done. He ain't going to do nothing. So I think he's going to go for the lead. He totally fits with this group. He's got some of that tactical speed to do what he on that aspect. The 2 is my third choice. Another one with some tactical speed, probably better on closing. Trainer gets 13% with 46 plus days rest. Definitely bred for this. And then the 3 is my price horse. Maybe a price. He still might be like 15-1. Ran even last time out. Of course, it was going to be his first time on turf. Scratch that idea. Mm-hmm. But he does fit in this group and everything. So we'll see how that turns out. With it going from off the turf and then, still going 1.5 miles, that's going to be pretty tough.
In this race, the 6th race, I'm going to go with Captain, agreeing with the Goonie Bracho. Is your sim favorite? Probably going to be really much your sim favorite now with a very strong C-zone score. And I think this one is going to be the lone E, going to be near the front and have a chance to take him gate to wire at 1.5 miles. Giroux, the 8 horse, is my second choice. Usually runs well off the bench. Has 23 good 23 furlongs of good workouts since his last race on May the 13th. So no question, this one's going to be in shape. And that list of workouts includes a bullet in his last, and then he's going to go straight to the track. I'd rather be blessed. The 3 horse, it is the lone PC horse. Going to get a big early pace edge in here, 9 points with all of the scratches. So another one that could get out to the front and maybe make easy work of this field. And then finally, number 2, always above, has by far the most back class of anything else that's left in this race. I'm going to do a pick 4, 3, 4, and 8 over the 2, 3, 4, and 6, over the 4, 6, and 9, over the 4 and 12. Unless, of course, there are some scratches that we don't know about yet that we'll adjust as we move forward. And I'll take a look at that in just a second. In race number 7, Charles, before we move on to race number 7, let me just quickly take a look and see if there are any scratches that we do not have listed in here, just to make sure we're as accurate as possible in the 7th race. They're still in their weather delay here. Race number 7. Looks like everybody's still scheduled to go in race number 7, where they're going to run a mile. They're going to come out of this chute, make that turn right there. That little bit of a tight left turn might be favor some horses to your inside. So far, early speed has done well. 37% of the time, they go wire to wire. And indeed, there is an inside 3 bias. I would say most likely because of that turn, going to cast all those horses to the outside, off track a little bit. For an out, do run under par. So 1, 2, and 3, those horses could have a good shot, particularly if they have a little bit of tactical speed in race number 7, Charles. And it looks like, well, the 4 horse has the speed. It's all to the outside. Maybe the 1 horse Secret Pocket can push up enough to make the outside horses go.
With the 4 having basically a 51% chance having that lead, and you got that outside speed, like you just said, the 7 at pretty much 30%, they're really going to be gunning. So, I mean, that's going to leave the horses like the 1 and 2 in trouble.
Shuffle a little.
The 1 does have some speed, so they might have to change their tactics and go no matter what, because you got that outside speed trying to cut you off there. And if the 1 succeeds, then he wipes out the 4 and the 7, because they're going to go wide and use everything they have.
Well, he can wipe out all of them, the 4, 5, 6, and 7, if he goes wide and makes them all push out on that sharp turn.
So it's the ones. The 1 could dictate how this race really does go, personally. When it comes to simulation odds, look at the 1.
So neither one of us have them. Are we going to regret that?
No, I mean, I still think he's going to back up. But I think he's the one that's going to decide how this race really is going to be run. 3 to 1, you got 10 to 1 morning line. The 2, it was about 2 to 5, 3 to 5 at 2 to 1 morning line. So a couple of a little overlays there. So we'll see how this turns out.
It looks like it's going to. Let's see. Where is Ellis Park on this map, though?
Should be near Florence.
Near Florence?
Near Florence, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I don't. It looks like the rain should be passed, and then there's another storm behind it, but this other storm is a little bit toward the north, so it looks like it might push past the track. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how that plays out, but that's what it looks like. Yeah, and it looks like that storm is actually pushing up. Wonderful. That other storm is pushing up towards me to Chicago, and they did say there was going to be some rough weather this afternoon, which will clear out all of this smoke that we're getting from the Canadians. All right. In race number 7, with the 3 races left to go, we'll see that these races pretty well balanced, Charles. The 6 and the 4. 6 horse wants to be your leader. It's lead dependent. Judo, is it going to get on the lead? It looks like it has a good shot to get there, Charles. Can't hush this. The 4 horse wants to be could be the pilot or the co-pilot. I think the 4 horse lets the 6 horse get to the lead, tries to sit behind him, but maybe not, because when you look at that late pace number for the 4 horse, it's not so good. Kind of fell off a little bit there. What's up, Doc? The pressure horse. I might not be pressuring today with that early pace. Might be a little bit more towards the back, but with a 12-point advantage over anybody else, should be able to make up a lot of ground as they're coming down the stretch. And then finally, the total pace numbers. You see a tie between What's Up, Doc, and Judo. And in this situation, I probably would prefer the forwardly placed horse over the horse that's trying to come off the pace. But that all depends on how much Can't Hush This really makes the 6 work early on. I think Judo has a shot to go wire to wire. What do you think?
I mean, it's just, who gets the lead? Depends which horse gets the lead, how easy they do. I see a little bit of an upset here. This is my long shot of the day, the 5. This horse broke its maiden perfect way, tactical speed, sat real close, and pounced when he had to pounce. He got claimed last time out. He was well bet last time. Joe Sharp claimed this horse. He gets 14% first after the claim. He's put him in a position here, and he's in a race that kind of sets it up for him. If depends if they get a big speed battle, especially for that first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 horse is my second choice here. This horse ran second last time out. Does have some speed to keep up with everybody. So let's see how he finishes out. The 3 horse is my third choice. He won last time out. Cox gets 24%, 90 plus days of rest, and Santana stays on this horse. He fit the horse very well last time out. And then the 7 is my final pick here. Is he going to get the lead? Is going to be one of them that goes for the lead? He won last time out. Sharp gets 16% with 46 plus days of rest. Does have that speed and that tactical speed to do whatever he wants. So it's who gets the lead at the quarter pole is going to dictate how this race is really going to run. I think if the 7 gets the lead, it's over. I think the 7 probably will go pretty much wire to wire. If the 4 goes, I think there's a lot of other horses that could push him along because he's closer to the rail with the 1. If the 1 goes, he could push everybody out. It's like.
And you did in all this race?
Yeah, so it just depends. But I think
that's
I really do. I like the way the 5 looks.
I like that. I like that. It just depends. All right, the 6 horse Judo. Top last race speed figure. First off, the claim for trainer Jordan Blair. When he does that, 29% winner. 2 good workouts. And I think this one has a shot, as we saw in our pace worksheet, to be the pace setter in here. What's up, Doc? This one's been on the track 4 times. Never been out of the money in any of them. All of them were at 1 mile. Today's distance does have a pair of seconds in 2 races at Ellis Park. And at times can show some brilliant late pace. Number 3, Deputy Connect. This horse was better across the board with its pace numbers in the maiden special weight win for trainer Brad Cox. Well, he's a pretty solid trainer. And he wins at 30% of the time in the race following the maiden score for a horse that is a very consistent performer. High floor, low ceiling type so far. Number 4, Can't Hush This. At times has some excellent early pace and mid pace numbers. If he can run to either one of those today, strong chance the 4 horse, and I mean way above anything else anybody else has done. If it can put those 2 together, it could go wire to wire. I'm betting it might not, because I have the 2, 3, 6 over the 2, 6 over the 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 as my trifecta and last bet of the day, because I had to delete a couple because Teacher Terry broke out the ruler and smacked me across my fingers to let me know I bet too much money. Good morning, Tassin. How you doing today? Tassin, number 5. Nice for you to join us. If you haven't done so yet and you're new to the show, kindly hit the subscribe button while you're here on YouTube. They say only 1 out of 10 people actually hits the subscribe button. Be in the upper 10%, not in the bottom 90. Be different. Be a leader. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell. Likes on Facebook and YouTube helps us with the algorithm. We absolutely appreciate that. I want to say thank you to, on Facebook, Ted Liznowski and Andrea Combs giving us a thumbs up on Facebook. Now, we would mention who gave us a thumbs up on YouTube, except they are not kind enough to share that information with us, Mr. Charles. In race number 8, 1 1/8 miles, optional claiming $100,000. The purse is $127,000. So this is a real race, Charles. Got some stakes money at stake here, although it's optional claiming. And then 5 races, as we mentioned so far, 100% of them won by speed, 3 of which go wire to wire. Strong inside 3 bias, 4 through 7 a touch under par. Before we move on to race number 8, though, quick, let me just make a look real quick at the scratches and see if they've changed anything up for race number 8 beyond what we have already. And it looks like minus the AE horse, everybody else is staying in so far. So no scratches, Charles. Speed on the inside can play a factor. If that's the case, Shoplifter might shoplift his way all the way to the winner's circle.
I don't know, but the 9 horse is going to have a say there with 66% chance of having that lead at the quarter pole. Shoplifter itself, the 2, it could be pushing him along, and probably most likely will be pushing along at the quarter pole.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to simulation odds, you got the 1 horse, 8 to 1. Morning line is 10 to 1. Not too bad overlay there. And that's it when it comes to the odds and overlays.
All right, let's see what it's about when we look at the pace setup, how horses like to run. Ooh, look at this race, Charles. Almost everybody wants to close in here, except for the 2, the 5, and the 11. So if the 2, 5, and 11, if they have the pace to get to the front, they could make this a difficult endeavor for some of the closers. The 2 indeed does. But look at that Bruna Boyne. I think that's probably, I screwed that up for sure. That is what I call a left arrow horse, Joyce and Charles. A lot of left arrow horses are ones that pull off upsets at prices. They're closers or mid-pack types that because of their normal early pace, they don't have to run any faster than they normally do when the gates open, and then moves them forward on this chart, hence left arrow horse. Not only does Bruna Boyne have pretty good early pace scores, the late pace numbers aren't all that far off the top either, although you do have a lot of closers in here with a lot of late juice in there, Charles, particularly the Unstable Princess and Magic Bubbles. You combine the early pace, late pace for the total pace. You see that the 4 horse Magic Bubbles, Charles in the bathtub, and then number 9, Bruna Boyne. Those 2 grade out a little bit better than everybody else. But you can see here all the way down to the 5. Looks like a pretty competitive race. Really only 1 horse, Demi, the 7, that looks completely out of it. So maybe you can scratch the 7 horse off. Maybe you can put the 7 in the winner's circle after that comment. But Charles, who do you have winning this race?
Well, I have the 6 winning this race. This horse won last time out. Well bred. Brown gets 24% with 46 plus days of rest. This horse will be flying at the end. I think he has enough pace, tactical pace, to sit pretty close to the pace itself. So, let's see how that works out. The 4 horse ran second last time out. Steve Asmussen and Tyler Gaffalione combo, not bad. This horse does have some of that tactical speed, those magic bubbles. Who doesn't like a bubble bath? And
those aren't the kind of bubbles I'm talking about.
Oh, is that not the kind? The 5 horse is my 3rd choice. Hot jockey last 7 days. Tactical speed itself also. I think this horse will be sitting pretty close. Second start after a layoff. And then the 11 is my price horse. They add the blinkers today. Ran 3rd last time out. Todd gets 20% with 46 plus days and the same percentage with first-time blinkers. So you got some things going for this 11 horse, and it's not too shabby. I think this horse has got enough speed to make it interesting. So it's kind of, in my opinion, a little bit on the wide open side.
Yeah, I think it's kind of wide open too. Peak popularity going to get the top call for me as well, Charles, because as always, you're writing down and copying my notes, but you got to make it look like you're trying to do something different by shifting the last 2 around. Did tie for the top last race speed figure. It made in special weight 120 grand for trainer Chad Brown. Chad Brown doesn't enter a whole lot into Ellis Park or the Churchill Circuit, but he entered 2 so far, and they both won. So I think he's pretty solid at placing his horses. Magic Bubbles, Tyler G here instead of what is the morning line favorite, the 5 horse. It also beat the 5 horse last time out. Does have much better early pace last time out as well relative to its previous races. And at times has some stake level late speed as well. Kind of curious why it was so far down the list on the odds board. Bruna Boyne is that left arrow horse. Could be your pace setter in here, Charles. And also, along with that early speed closer type that's showing early speed, it's got a lot of workouts getting prepped for this race. So I think you're going to see a lot of endurance out of Bruna Boyne. And then finally, she's looking lucky. The lone P horse, as we saw, the C zone says that should get a trip. That's really happy with to her favor. We see a lot of C zone, high C zone scoring horses do exceptionally well. I didn't make any bets because Terry said I was out of money. So I actually went and deleted one from here. And also from here in race, the final race of the day. So we did manage to get all the way through the card, Mr. Charles.
I want to thank Terry, first of all, always catching you trying to cheat. So
not trying to cheat, Charles. It's just that, I got 94,000 things to do before we get started. And you guys just to get to come along for the ride.
It's bad math. That's all there's to it.
Yes, indeed. So here we go. See, indeed, it was a mic drop, Jennifer. Charles almost lost it there. If he was drinking milk, it would have come out of his nose for sure. All right, one last thing here. Let's look in race number 9 to see if we have any scratches that we are unaware of. Right now, it looks like everybody we think is in the race is going to be in the race. So hopefully it stays that way. The final race of the card, if and when they get to racing, 5.5 furlongs, is supposed to be on the grass. Guess what? It's not. It's going to be in the mud. I think we opened up at 5.5 furlongs, Charles. No, I don't. We didn't.
Was it 5 or 5.5?
It was 5. I thought we had a 5.5 furlong race in here somewhere, but we don't. I would suspect, much like 6 furlongs, you're going to see it favor perhaps tacticals or early speed. At 6 furlongs, 58% of the time they go wire to wire. There's a strong rail bias. 2 through 7 play fair 8 and out. I think that half a furlong might accentuate that speed bias a little bit, Charles. If that's indeed the case with all the scratches here, man, Ruby Tap might get to the front, although he's got a lot of speed, potential speed left into his inside there. But sure looks like going to be the fastest one.
Yeah, I think he's the one to catch. Can they catch him? I think they can, but he is definitely one to catch because he's going to be at the quarter pole for sure on the lead, I believe. And when it comes to simulation odds, I don't think we have anything left when it comes to overlays. And there was a lot of scratches to begin with. So, yeah.
I imagine there could be some more too, right?
Could be, yes.
It looks to me like we're probably about 15, 20 minutes away from the weather passing. So I would suspect you'll probably see riders up before too long, and then they'll be out, warm up, and be about their day over there. Should be fun to watch the horses parade around in the slop, Charles. When they are parading around in the slop for the final race of the day. Look at this. The 12 horse is a pressure horse, Charles. The 2 horses a closer. So far, everybody else has not been close. Within 5 lengths of the leader at the finish line. Boy, it sure looks like the 12 horse should get its way. The 1 horse in here that's a wild card is the 4. It's not run before, first-time starter. So on the early speed, we'd confirm that the 9 horse is probably your fastest horse. The closer, she's small town girl. Could be right in there too. Looking at the 12 horse, the pressure horse, probably going to be sitting 3rd, maybe 4th. And as they turn for home, Mr. Charles, that's where the difference kicks in. 20 points better than the next closest horse. Every 5 points equals about 1 length. So that means that horse can make up 4 lengths in the stretch, Charles. So if it's within 4 lengths of the leaders coming out of that turn, probably going to turn on the jets. You might not see that horse again. And when you look at the late pace numbers, the total pace here, 19 points better than the next closest horse. I say when you get to 10, the thing that concerns me about this, Charles, is that so many times the too obvious is too obvious, and they end up getting beat and finishing second. I would look to backdoor exactly that 12 horse, but with that strong late pace advantage, with the fact it's probably going to be 3rd or 4th coming out of the turn, the ability to make up as many as 4 lengths in the stretch, I think it'd be really hard to beat Anna's, whatever that last word is.
Well, I do believe he's going to be very hard to beat. I think the race is setting it up for him, but I did put an exacta box here. First, I put
because you know your ice colds are just that ice cold.
Yeah, well, I'll take my ice colds over your picks any day. No, I'm just kidding.
Sure. My dad can beat up yours.
Mine can beat up yours. Mine's bigger than yours. Okay, anyway, the 12.
Well, we can go a little bit of, what was that, City Slickers? We can go little City Slickers on you. You remember that? I crap bigger than you.
Oh, yeah, I crap bigger than you. Yeah.
All right, anyway, enough.
The 12 here, like we said, I mean, it's basically his race to lose. Ran 2nd last time out, bred for this. 3rd start after a layoff. A lot of other good things we've already went over about with the 12. The 9 is my second choice, which I did put an exact box with. The Dam has 2 winners from 3 starters. You got Steve Asherson and Tyler Gaffalione combo again, and very well bred horse. So I see this horse, if he can't hang on, I think he can hang on for the exacta. The 4 is my 3rd choice here. Bred for this, solid work tab. Trainer gets 19% with first timers, so why not take a shot with that horse? The 2 is my final pick on this race. Ran even last time out. Does have some kind of tactical speed. He should be sitting second or third, pretty much up without overall. Fits with this group, so why not?
So the beautiful Caitlin Free just announced that they're about 9 minutes away, 8 minutes away from the first race at Ellis Park. Looks like the sun might be out a little bit because I'm seeing some shadows on the screen there. That poor woman takes so much abuse on Twitter, i.e., have you ever, I mean, she really does get ripped. I don't know why some people are like that on Twitter.
Well, I don't know why people have to be mean about things. Everyone struggles on some things, and everyone's really good at some things, and everyone,
First of all, it's horse racing, right?
And another thing, we're human, and everyone cannot predict how these animals are going to do everything 100%. So,
no, to me, it's all about. I mean, the way I look at horse racing, Charles, and you do old-fashioned handicapping. I'm a little bit more data-driven because I come from the stock market world. I feel like there's a range for these horses, right? They are what they are, like humans. We can only run so fast. You can only do so much to run fast. I can't turn myself into like a 4.6, 4.55 high school 40-yard dash runner into a 4.1. I can't turn into an Olympic sprinter. I might be able to take a tenth of a second off by making some adjustments to your strength, losing a little bit of weight, increasing the strength of your thighs,
all this stuff. Yeah, you're right.
Horses can't be much different. Of course, you can enhance them, which, hopefully HISA is in the process of undoing. But even with those enhancements, you can't you're not going to turn a $5,000 claimer into secretariat. It just can't happen. But in any case, it's horse racing. I'm all about probabilities, trying to play the odds, finding the best value, going through the data, see what the data tells us, and then using that data to our advantage. That's why you see all these charts here. That's why Charles and Terry come along as well, because they're a little bit more old-fashioned in the way they do things. So you get a couple different viewpoints on how the horses play out. And you see a lot of times the data, so the quantitative analysis and the qualitative analysis from Charles and Terry, although Terry does a lot of math as well. You see there's a lot of overlap in there. We overlap on that 12 horse that has that enormous 19-point total pace edge. Again, the only thing that concerns me is when you see such great advantages like that, they look so damn obvious on paper, and then it doesn't work out that way. And also, when you look at the pace setup, it really looks like it favors the 12. Should be in front of these horses if it wants to be, has the best late pace. So that shows pretty well for the 12 in there as two. So all of that points to the 12 horse winning. Does it win? I don't know. Maybe the 4 horse gets the job done in here. It's a first time starter. And quite honestly, outside of the 12 horse, with all these other horses, pretty much minus the 2 not being within 5 lengths of the leader at the finish line, it really doesn't have a whole lot to beat. Does have a 3 furlong workout, which is his last workout before going to the track. Was pretty decent, 36 seconds, not that slow. That tells me they plan on trying to push Proud Mary to the front when the gates open. Number 2, she's a small town girl. The pair on grass were good enough to get the job done here, but guess what, Charles? They ain't running on the grass. The dirt runs weren't quite as encouraging. Number 8, Steel Racer. I'm going to take a shot with the Steel Racer in here. Charles showed plenty of early speed in its first 2 races, then fell, kind of faded a little bit. In its second career start, held its speed much longer. I think it's going to have more stamina in its second race after a layoff, and third career start overall. Was a tough call for me over that 9 horse, Charles, the one that was indeed on the simulator. Looks like it's going to get to the front, but I decided to take a little bit of a flyer at the end there. No bets for me. That wraps up our picks today for the entire card at Ellis Park, which is going to start in about 6 minutes, Mr. Charles.
Yeah, and it does look sloppy, and they officially made it sloppy. Yeah.
I think you and I could have made that call from here.
I think we could have, blindfolded almost.
Kind of like how you make your picks?
Oh, no. That's you. Hey, I get into the studying. I know. I get into it big time. And then somehow you get in my computer and copy everything.
Yes, because I'm the tech wizard for sure. I was going to tell you that today over a guaranteed tip sheet that Delaware Park was the free track, but I think it got canceled somehow today, right? Did it get canceled today?
I don't know.
Let's look and see, because I thought I saw Delaware Park being canceled on the day today. Yeah, Delaware Park and Charlestown were both canceled. So unfortunately, it's not free today, but there are a lot of other tracks running over there today. So head on over there. There is a link down in the description below. Kindly click on that so they know where you are coming from. There will be no show tomorrow. Foreign Fridays, Tom and I taking off after doing every day of the Royal Ascot last week. Next week, I will not be here. You're going to be stuck with Charles and Terry all week.
No, not stuck. They're going to be blessed.
Yes, indeed. They'll be blessed with Terry, stuck with you. And then, and also the following Monday, I won't be here, but I'll be back after that. Charles will hold down the ship. And then after that, Charles is gone for quite a while. So everybody will indeed be blessed when Charles is out of town.
What did I say?
I'm just trying to say that. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Charles, I just gave you a hard time, buddy. That's all. Looking forward to coming down there in September, getting together with Charles and driving over to Kentucky Downs when they open up. That'll be a lot of fun. Charles and I will be out there. So if you're going to be in that area in the early part of September, I think September like 7th through the 9th.
I want to say like 6, 7, somewhere around there. Yeah, I got to look back at the dates, but yeah.
So make sure if you're in that area, you make a point to stop by. Thomas will be there too. So myself, Tom, and Charles will be there. Glad to say hi to everybody, share what we know, and then make excuses for all the ones that we didn't pick that one. And then Charles, of course, that wraps it up for this week. I wish you and Terry a lot of luck next week. I'll make sure you get all the information that you need. I'll have all the data up, but I'm going to be down in sunny Florida, hanging out with the family down there for a little bit. Need a little bit of time to refresh the battery, so to speak. Then when I come back, I'll be rip roaring and ready to go. Who is going to win in race number 1 at Ellis Park? Again, here are all of our picks for Ellis Park today. You can go ahead and screenshot that, Lucho Evacedo. I will go ahead in just a few minutes and put all of our picks over at horseracingtoday.net. While you're there, kindly hit on the HRT gear. Get yourself a Horse Racing Today t-shirt, hat. You'll look fantastic at the track. You'll look better than you normally do. I promise you that. All right, Charles, any final thoughts before we get up and get out of here?
No, everyone just stay safe because the weather is kind of crazy and stuff like that. And
yeah, it's either thunderstorming or smoking you out or.
Oh, yeah, smoking out. And I think tomorrow, if not the next day for sure, big heat wave coming, especially for the South. So everyone, some way, shape, or form is getting something. So be safe out there. And you probably want to show all our picks one more time because the race is about to go up.
I think they are up right now, Charles.
Oh,
no, they're not up. You're right, Charles. You're right. There you go. Bang. There we go.
Okay.
So let's go specifically to race number 1. You see all first-time starters. I have a exacta key box, the 5 over to 3, 4, 6. Right now, the favorite is the 4 at 6 to 5. The 5 is checking in as your second favorite at 3 to 1. Then the 6 horse at 9 to 2. Then you got the 3 horse at 6 to 1, the 2 horse at 7 to 1, and the 1 horse at 9 to 1. So once you get past the 4, pretty much a wide open race, Charles. First time starters. I don't know. I mean, the 4 might indeed be the best horse in the race, but I'm not so sold that I want 6 to 5 in the slop on an opener. And what the heck? They're about to run the first one. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and say what happens. And then we'll say goodbye for the week.
See if the speed goes wire to wire or gate to wire or whatever you want to call it.
Thank you, Janet. You have a fantastic 4th of July as well. Everybody, I hope that everybody enjoys it. Stay safe. Great food, great times, great family, great fun. But of course, make up the next day not too hungover. I don't drink. So not
then you get to see me on YouTube. So
well, you'll be here Tuesday morning, right?
Yeah, you'll be blessed. That's it.
Yes, you'll be blessed. Charles and Terry will deliver fireworks in the form of extraordinary Parks picks.
That's right.
So it looks like the 4 horse is in, just waiting on the 5 and the 6 in what is a very wet track. The sun is not out. It doesn't look like, because I'm not seeing any shadows on the track. So hopefully the sun does come and the weather is done for the day in Hendersonville, Kentucky. And they're all in. All of them are well behaved for the most part. I don't see anybody acting up. I don't know if I can't tell if anybody's holding a tail in there. And they're off. The 4 horse Charles did not break sharply. Unfortunately, the 2 horse is the one that broke the quickest Market Street, get to the lead. The 6 horse is on to its outside. 4 horse is definitely trying to rally up right now to push into the in the race there. The 2 horse, though, 10 to 1, get off to a good start. It's the one that's on the lead that everybody's going to have to run down. Does look like the 4 horse might indeed have been the best horse in this race. The question is, did that bad start screw him up? The 5 horse is just completely spent. I don't think he likes the slop whatsoever at all.
He is backing up now.
He is backing up, but the question is
it enough? Yeah.
Is it enough for the 4 to come get him? Because it looks like now he went wide, and in going wide, he found. I mean, this looked to me like he was only backing up.
He was just
no, because the jockey couldn't get him to switch leads.
Yeah.
And now here comes my 5, like a crazy man late. What in the hell kind of ride was that out of the 5?
I don't know. But I do believe the 4 was the best horse in that race.
I don't know, Charles. Looking at that race, it's tough to say who the best horse is.
He didn't change leads. He broke pretty bad, like you said.
Well, look at what the 5 horse did. The 5 horse came out, broke okay, then went straight back, and then at the end of the race decided, oh, you know what? I think I'm supposed to run now.
Yeah, they just made one big run. That's all they did on that one.
Yeah, so
he had an excellent race, though. You have to admit that.
Yeah, once he switched leads, because the jockey, you could see him yanking on the horse a little bit, and the head turned. And once he got him to switch leads, that lead widened out again. So 2 horse was definitely the best horse in that race. So let's go back real quick and see if there were any hints in the program on race number 2. Why Crossing was the one to pick in there. Let's see. Well, did show speed last time out. Did go wire to wire in a maiden claiming win on that. So, that's the wrong race. So hold on. The hell am I talking about? Race number 2, Market Street. Well, it wasn't a cheap horse, I'll tell you that. $275,000, Mr. Charles.
Mr. Lucas.
Yeah, D. Wayne Lucas. So you got a good trainer there as well. Looking at the workouts, 48-2, not bad. 49, all under 50. So I'm okay with those workouts. But there's really none of those workouts really jump off the page right there at you, right?
Yeah, nothing screams that he was going to pop and do what he did. He just popped that gate perfect. I mean,
yeah. And then you see here the first time starter. Looks like D. Wayne's got maybe 3 wins in 69 races. Debut maiden special weight, maybe 5 in there, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, but when it comes to Mr. Lucas, I throw a lot of stats out of the window. I mean,
you still have to look at them, Charles. Maybe I read into that he's not necessarily trying to win the first race. I read into that.
Usually he doesn't. Everybody knows that really overall. He's like a Bill Mott. He puts really good foundations underneath the horse. And if the horse pops the first time, they do. But they're not too worried about it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, to me, I read that like, let's throw him out there. Let's see what he likes. And then from there, we adjust.
Yes, that's what he's one of those trainers, and there's a lot of trainers like that, actually.
All right. Well, the 2 horse goes wire to wire in the opener, so we did see speed hang in there. Although the 5 horse did some crazy run in there, almost found his way into second. The opener at Ellis Park went 2, 6, and then 5. 2, 6, and 5, and it does look like in the background it is pretty gray there still. So, but I do see some sun breaking through. So hopefully we get the rest of the day at Ellis Park, Charles. So no matter if you're in a heat wave, no matter if you're choking on smoke in the Midwest, no matter if you're in the middle of thunderstorms in Kentucky, no matter where you are, hopefully it's beautiful weather down in Latin America where a lot of people come to join us today. We certainly hope that you got God's favor. Everything that you do today, much like that 2 horse in the opener, Charles, ends up in one place, and that can only be
the winner's circle.
Indeed. Thanks for joining us. Good luck to you and Terry for the next 5 days, Charles, and look forward to getting back and saying hello to everybody on Tuesday, the 11th. Take care.
See ya.